the Bored Ape brand is really powerful as an image. I would compare it to something like Hello Kitty, right? Which is Hello Kitty is a global phenomenon brand. It's incredible in apparel. It's incredible in, merchandise. It has this sort of like, kind of like personality identifier defining thing going on with it. And at the same time, like it's not really story based, right? The Hello Kitty comic,
Yeah.
the Hello Kitty movie is not something that you really see coming out of it. And I think, um, what a lot of people in Web3 were kind of discounting while they watched this IP revolution happen was that taking IP from a static image and turning it into a season of television or a piece of global IP that's consumed as entertainment is a huge lift. I bought my first ape. I don't remember. It was like $800 or something. And it really got surreal when there was a moment, when they started to be valued in like the tens of thousands of dollars. And I think, that was sort of like, it was something that I'd been through before because I'd seen Bitcoin do the same thing. I'd seen Ethereum do the same thing. But what was so different about this is it was public and it had this kind of identity attached to it. So where something like, Bitcoin is all about anonymity, right? You have 5 Bitcoin in a wallet. Nobody knows that wallet is yours. That wallet is obfuscated. That wallet is a long string of hash that, most people can't even read their own wallet address, let alone remember somebody else's. But with the ape, if you're out using it the way it should be used, which is that you should claim it on your socials, you should be interacting with these people in the discords, you should be interacting with these people in community events and meetups and all that kind of stuff. Suddenly it becomes this very public kind of asset that had, in some ways that it had the shape of cryptocurrency and at the same time was also something entirely different. And I think it was really fun, really exciting. There's a lot about that project that has inspired, Runner and the projects we're working on now. I think, they did a lot of things that were groundbreaking that should be, particularly when it comes to IP and the way IP is used and shared among the community. Like some of the moves they made are just truly incredible.
I think they completely defined the space, and I think so many projects have just been either a iteration on that or a like we're not even going to try change, we're just going to do the same thing that they did, which is quite a powerful achievement for quite a small team.
Certainly as we look to the future of NFTs and what they will be long term, I think Bored Apes is absolutely a landmark achievement that will be the basis for a lot of inspiration for collections in the future. The Bored Ape brand is really powerful as an image. I would compare it to something like Hello Kitty, right? Which is Hello Kitty is a global phenomenon brand. It's incredible in apparel. It's incredible in, merchandise. It has this sort of like, kind of like personality identifier defining thing going on with it. And at the same time, like it's not really story based, right? The Hello Kitty comic, the Hello Kitty movie is not something that you really see coming out of it. And I think, what a lot of people in Web3 were kind of discounting while they watched this IP revolution happen was that taking IP from a static image and turning it into a season of television or a piece of global IP that's consumed as entertainment is a huge lift. It's really, really hard to do. Anybody can make TV if they have $10 million, but good TV is really, really hard. And the opportunity we saw was what happens if we approach Web3 the way we approach a movie and we bring in, the highest level of director and the highest level of screenwriter and the highest level of animation company. And we approached this the way we would approach a television show. One of the most inspiring things about being part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club was watching, not just there are beverage brands, there are realtors, there's fast food, there's a music label, all of these things that have sprung up. There's these, you call it creative side projects, people making YouTube series, and the Jenkins team doing their entire book series, all these other stories that are based around these characters. And I don't think any of these would have been the natural decision of one central entity. But what's happened is this group of thousands of people, out of that thousands of people, a handful, 10, 15, 20, turn around and say, I'm going to use this to do this thing I was already doing. I'm going to use this as the branding on my coffee company, on my beverage company, on my, whatever it is venture they're trying to do. And what they find by doing that is they have this piece of recognizable IP, but they also have immediately 5,000 fans, right, inside of the community that are rooting for them. This is my first time in the tech world, really, is working on this NFT project. And the way the tech world works is they say, oh, we can draw a car. What do I need to do to draw a car? It's like, well, I need an artist. And then I sit down and they draw a car. But of course, the way Cedric works is, no, of course I can draw a car. I don't need to draw a car. I need to draw the right car. I need to draw the car that makes sense inside of this world. And to make sense inside of this world, I need to understand the political structure, right? So like, how do you draw the car that reflects that?